Carrie Adams, and you're listening to Carrie's Connoisseurs, coming to you from Solid Gold Podcasts. Here we talk to the movers and shakers, the drinkers, the dreamers, and all the people who make it happen in the liquor and luxury industries from around the world. Well, hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. I'm Carrie Adams. This is Carrie's Connoisseurs, and today I have got two boyfriends in my studio. Natie Jankelowitz and Martin Smith. Thanks for joining me. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, and our pleasure. Thanks for having us on the show.
Well, it's my pleasure because Bacco, from whence you hail, it is your home space. It's your second name. In fact, it should be your first name. It's what you live and work and sleep and eat and breathe and pray to on a daily basis. Bacco has just been awarded 5 stars for its 2020 red blend. And it's also won in the Australia Tri-Nations. It used to be called the Tri-Nations. I don't know if I'm still calling it Tri-Nations as an old-fashioned wine person. But there is a competition in Australia every year, which Michael Fridjon has presented South Africa at for the last 20 years, I think. And it's a challenge of New World producing countries, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, and the USA. And your wine won that too. So Natie, you're the owner. You're allowed first shot. Brag.
Yeah, Carrie, it's actually unbelievable. I could not be more grateful, first of all, and more humbled by this whole, what's happened to Bacco. It's just an amazing year. That you come to the end of the year like this and get a 5-star first of all at John Platter's, followed up by the trophy in the Bordeaux category of this competition. I'm very grateful to a lot of people. You can imagine this, is that what I know about winemaking is really was very little. The passion I've got, but I chose the right people. And thank goodness for Martin.
You did. Well, starting with yourself, you're the right people.
Well, it did, but without people around me that I have around me, and without meeting one day when I'm meeting Phil Fries down in the vineyards of Villa Fonte and chatting about the potential of the soil over here and the terroir in this area here, it wouldn't have gone much further without going to visit Selma Long and saying, and she said to Martin, she says, Martin, take this youngster down there, go and give him a taste out the barrel of the Malbec. And I had a barrel tasting of the Malbec, and it was just so great. Everything has just been more and more motivating and carrying me along through this journey.
Martin, how do you feel about these unbelievable awards that you've just been? Awarded?
Happy with the score that we got for it. It was like the 2020, so yeah, it was that eerie vintage where there's nothing and nobody going on. There was no emails, nothing. Everybody was taking a little bit of a break. But for the winemakers and everybody working in the industry, the work needed to get done. And luckily, it was actually kind of a blessing in disguise because there was nothing else to do than just to spend time with the wines and make sure you get the
Well, I was about to say, Natie, there's a little message in that for you. Leave him the hell alone next year and the next year and the next year, because when he's not distracted, he's obviously producing cracker wine.
Absolutely.
So it was a COVID baby. Your 2020 blend was your COVID baby, and it's actually, as I said to you earlier, probably one of the only good things to come out of the COVID era. But Natie, you and I have chatted before on radio or TV. I can't remember when we chatted, but when you first started building your winery,
yes, we did. Yeah.
At Bacco. And if everybody looks nicely, they'll see behind you two boys a picture of that gorgeous archway and the brickwork that leads through into your cellar. Give us a little bit of a history of Bacco.
All right, so it's quite interesting. This was another good thing that came with COVID as well. Carrie, just a quick history. In 2000, I got in some guys in the consortium to actually do a property development over here. It was going to be an estate in the winelands, and the council would never move the urban edge, which was a railway line on the northern boundary of this property. 2008, 2009, with the financial crisis that rocked the world, and all the partners fell by the wayside. And eventually, I paid them all out, and I was left with a 60-hectare piece of ground. And I realized I could actually do something to fulfill one of my real dreams here. We dug some holes. Colin Shapiro of Civils 2000 dug some holes, a little grid of holes here. We sent we got Vinpro involved over here. Got a report which wasn't terribly encouraging, but when I took it across to Belafonte guys, to Phil Freeze, and he started telling me how great the soil was. I thought, wow, who am I going to listen to now? And we started by planting the first 5 hectares in 2016, August 2016. We obviously knew straight away that the Bordeaux varietals were going to be the thing for this terroir, knowing what was going on at Villa. I mean, we had generally one seriously old dirt road. But I only had a farmer here, and I needed a lot of help, and that's when I approached Martin. Martin had just left. You left about that time?
I left. Well, started pastoring in 2013, but officially went on my own with pastoring in 2017. Yeah.
17.
Well, let's just remind everybody that Martin was with Villafante making wines there under the very careful leadership and guidance of Mike Ratcliffe, Zelma Long, who we absolutely love. For everybody else's info, Zelma is married to Phil Freeze. I never knew if they were married or if they were just living together, but it doesn't matter.
No, they're married.
They were an item, hey?
Yeah. No, they're married. They're very conservative in that way.
And they are one of the most powerful Venus items on planet Earth at this stage of the game. My estimation of Phil Freeze, he's one of the best viticulturists in the world. And Zelma is not too shabby a winemaker either. So it's been a fantastic journey for Martin. And we had a lovely interview as well. My listeners and viewers are no strangers to Martin, who makes absolutely beautiful wine. We never let on that he was actually making the wine up the road at Bacco, but now everybody knows the cat's out the bag. He doesn't make it. Do you make it or do you oversee it, Mart?
We have Julia here, so I'm what they call a consultant cellar master. And Julia is doing all the hard labor, and then I get to call the shots.
You come in and swoop in and take all the glory. Yeah. That sounds like a boy thing.
Yeah, like delegation. It's like as long as you, what did I say? As long as you're respectful, then we work quite well together. So our opinions are just that.
Yes, as long as you pinch my bottom respectfully, you keep on pinching it, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So I try to be more of an umbrella figure over the state, so keeping an eye on the vineyards and on the wines as well. So it's quite a significant task. So it's better. Julia is here. She works on the wines,
yes.
And she's not a winemaker. I'm afraid to get her hands and her hair dirty. So that's what you want in the winery.
Yeah. So Natie, how did you decide what wines you wanted to produce? Were you pushed into it, or did you decide it yourself?
We took the advice basically from what Villafante were doing to start, and we also got Johan Wisse involved from Groenberg, and he gave us some good advice on what would do really well in the terroir here, and we decided that the French varietals were going to do well, so that's where we concentrated on. We did put a bit of Syrah in as well, besides the normal Bordeaux sort of varietals. We're only missing, I think, Petit Verdot out of all of them now. That's what we don't have on the farm.
Yeah, and maybe Carmenere.
Carmenere as well. So it's very interesting how that's gone, Kerry. I mean, we have once or twice tried to we've made smaller quantities of single varietals, but as you know, the blends are really where the action is, and we've taken good advice from Michael Frijon as well, and yourself, where you've said the future should lie in the blends, and it does look like that's where we're going. We obviously pride ourselves in being super Tuscan, so we've taken this whole French idea and turned it around to be more Italian, okay? And we have a block of Sangiovese as well, and
Vermentino.
And the surprise coming out is in 2022, which gets released next year, not next year, because we're only in 2023, 2025. So we'll be releasing basically a Super Tuscan style blend, and then also like a Chianti style blend, which is one's going to have just more Sangiovese than the other. And I think that's where we're going to start telling ourselves apart from being really sort of Italian.
Do you think so, Mark? Do you think that the Sangiovese is going to be better than what our current Bacco blend is that we brag and sing from the rooftops? Because I'm very proud of having any association.
It will give you a different option on what the style of wines can be. It's by far probably one of the most unique creations, as far as South Africa doesn't have something like that yet, where people have gone to what is done in Bulgaria and in Italy and done it at that extent that is done at Bacco. So we pride ourselves.
So give us a sneak peek. What's going to be in your Super Tuscan? What are you putting
so
in
there? It will be. I think the first creation that we've done was actually Merlot based, and then there's always going to be a smidgen of Sangiovese in it. The new one that we're working on now is actually Cabernet based, and then it will have Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Malbec, and then Sangiovese at the end. And then the other one from that, the Chianti style, will be. We try to see if we can do it as they would do in Italy. So we try to do at least 75% Sangiovese, and then the rest will be Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, Merlot.
Is your Sangiovese typical?
It is.
Is it very typical Sangiovese?
It is still super young. It's got a little bit of a lighter style, and we want to go full on and make it as rich and powerful as it can be. So this year we will actually give it a little bit more hang time and see if we can get to about an alcohol of about 14.5, 15, and then give it all of the beauty that is known for the wines from that area. So it's very exciting. We definitely, there's two kinds of different ways of pruning the Sangiovese as well. So we got the VSP, which is a normal vertical shoot positioning. So and then half of the block is trained like that, and then the other half is going to be in the Guyot style, which gives you your bunches and make it a lot more open. And then for what we want is
those are the ones I want.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We want the right power to weight ratio, so it needs to have quite some oomph to create the wine and style that we want.
It's funny that I've spent most of my life trying to get the right power to weight ratio, and it's never really worked. When you get that maths, will you just share it with us girls? So when is that going to happen? Are you going to vinify one of those next year?
We're going to bottle now in January. We're going to bottle the first creation, so the Chianti wines and the Super Tuscan. So we're blending the 23 now, which is the second one. But I feel that the block Sangiovese is only coming into its own and into its full from this vintage on. It's one of those varietals. It's like Grenache. It's a little bit like a teenage. When it's in its teenager phase, then it's a little bit all over the show. But now that it's in its fourth production, we will probably get a little bit more concentration, and that's what we want.
Yeah, no, we don't want a Sangiovese with pimples and big ears and shoes that are too small. Yeah. We don't want any of that. So we'll wait. We'll wait for that. None of those
easy drinking Sangiovese. It needs to stay.
No, we don't want that. They taste like sun-dried tomatoes and horrible stuff. Yeah. Natie, tell us what went into the winning blend that helped you to hold that Bordeaux style cup up high in Australia. What was in that wine?
Well, we got, let's talk about the components of the wine first of all. So that's one that's got 61% Cabernet. Yeah. All right. And then it's got 32% Malbec, and it's got 7% Merlot, if I'm not mistaken. That's really the components of that blend. Done purely by Martin. Martin sits down and he does it. And I know when he blends, he sits with Julia now and actually does the blending. But I left it to Martin to do that blending, and we're just very proud of it. It's just it's getting better and better and better as time goes on. We always set 2 years in a barrel, 22 months in a barrel, basically. And then we said we'd always bottle and then put the wine aside for a year at least. But I mean, we're now talking about almost 2 years that this wine's been bought in a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's certainly getting better.
Well, I can tell everybody that wine is absolutely, I'm not allowed to say it. Callum, can I say it? I can't really. But you know what I want to say? It starts with an F and it ends with an F and the last word is off. Gorgeous. It's really, really amazing wine. How readily available is it? It's on your websites. It's at Norman Goodfellows, I think.
We're at port to port at the moment. We've always been at Norman Goodfellows for doing a bit of our sales and distribution. And we have quite a bit of stock of it, which is quite nice. So we only really released this a few months ago, which we thought was the right time with taking into account the quality and the consistency of the wine. So we do have stock of it, and I don't know what we've got 5,000, 6,000 bottles, I think we've got downstairs. Yeah, so it's newish. It's newish to the market.
Well, we're going to put some into the Solid Gold online store as well, so we'll do that. So everybody who's watching this knows that they can come to this space and buy it as well. Keep it nice and exclusive like that. We don't want to share it with too many people and go out of stock and get a bad name.
It will always be a small volume, but very high quality wine. So that's what we want to go for.
Well, you know what, boys? Congratulations, Natie. I cannot believe. Just for everybody's info, Natie and I have been mates for a very long time. He started out as being one of my more energetic and enthusiastic customers at Norman Goodfellows 100 years ago. And we've just become mates, and I'm just so proud of you for what you've done. It's a dream that's been completely and utterly driven and fulfilled by you yourself. It's a remarkable success story. And to have that rubbish sitting next to you, I don't know how you managed to entice him to come and make. I don't know how you did, but you did. Yeah. He's just a cutie pie who's making some of the best wine in the country. Well done. It's just such a success story.
Yeah. Gary, but
really, really is.
I know you talk about. I know the way you talk about me, and I really appreciate it. But it doesn't happen without people like you. The support that you need through the journey. It's not always an easy journey. I mean, so.
And I told you, I remember telling you, Natie, if you want to drink wine, come and buy it from Norman Goodfellows. Don't throw all your money into a wine. It's hectic. It's heartbreaking.
You know what? You still owe us a visit over here. That's what you do. You've got to come and taste.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm coming next year to blend with Martin. I want to come and do blending with you. We'll spend a day in the cellar and we'll taste and we'll blend and we'll spit.
Yeah, let's do it. We can do it.
There was something else I was Oh, so if any of the listeners or whomever watches would like to come and visit, where do they? We send them in the direction of Anita. We can't leave Anita out of this whole thing. She is pretty much the fulcrum of Bacco. We can't leave her out. So how do they get hold of her and say we're coming to visit?
No, so we pretty much open house. We're open every day from about 10 o'clock on to 4:30. And if the people stay behind a bit in summer because it gets late, it gets dark so much. So we're quite happy to sit on. We've got the most outstanding patio over here, overlooking the Palm Mountains and the monument and everything. And it's just a little bit breezy around about sort of 5 o'clock as the sun sort of moves into the west. And it's the most beautiful, beautiful place to sit under the oak trees and just look and drink wine. So we're open house. They're booked down pan. Will accept any bookings because we're on down pan as well. My daughter in the kitchen makes the most beautiful cicchetti. I think Martin sort of experienced quite a lot of the food over here. And
I've noticed he's starting to fill out a bit, Nate. He's filling out a bit since he's been at Bacco. He used to be quite scrawny and...
Yeah. Anyway, life's good. What can I say?
I just want to tell everybody that Natie's actually he's a QS, he's a quantity surveyor. who made far too much money in the building industry, and he's now making far too much money in the wine industry. I don't know how it's happening.
Spending a lot
But
of money.
everything, Mr. Midas. Everything you touch, Mr. Midas. So Bacco is the cutest, prettiest little farm sitting on the backside of Fairview-ish, hey?
If I look
Sort of
across
on
to
the
the
backside
mountain
of-
over there, I look at the Suid-Agterpaalse pad, where Fairview and what's one
Yes.
next door, Spice Route
And
is.
the Afrikaanse taal monument.
Yeah.
The Taal Monument, that's quite
Yes.
right. It's obviously
Correct.
been very lucky for you. Just keep that Afrikaans taint, touch. It's gorgeous,
Yeah.
it's working.
I am fully
It's
Afrikaans,
definitely-
although I'm English. I have an English last name.
I don't know where Smith came from. Your mother slept with somebody,
no,
you're
it's
wrong.
from my father's
I don't know
side.
what
Like,
happened.
I think I'm French, British colonial.
You should never admit that openly on television, on YouTube. You should never admit.
can't. Yeah, it became a swear word, I must say, but it's not.
Oh, boys, it's gorgeous. Is there accommodation at Bacco if somebody
No.
wants to come and sleep the night?
Yeah, no, we don't have. So at the moment, the SDP, everyone knows, a site development plan, and that's how you get your rights on agricultural land. You get that stamped, and you're not entitled to build after putting in plans and that. But we had 7 houses at the back which I can build, but the council are looking desperately for more investment in this area. So all of a sudden they're pro-development. I mean, for a lot of the years, councils were closing it down. They didn't want it outside the urban edge, but they really are looking for investments. And we are going to look at it. We've got 6 hectares that isn't particularly good at the top, that was stripped previously to build a dam. And ideally, we'd like to do a sort of boutique hotel if we possibly can over time. It'd be very nice to have that accommodation over here. The other thing was the manor house, which we have over here, is actually zoned as in approved for a restaurant. But, I've got to talk my daughter into the idea of getting a partner as opposed to just trying to do everything herself. She'll have no social life. She'll have no
Yes.
boyfriend. She'll have nothing.
Well, that's what happens. Anybody who tells you the wine and food industry is a goodie, you do it all for love, not really for money, and your own life goes west. you don't end up having any spare time, But it's worth it. Look at what you've got. We can't leave her out of the equation either. Quickly, I keep on remembering something else to add in this interview. She's a trained cordon bleu chef, isn't she?
Yep.
Your daughter.
Carla's a cordon bleu chef.
Yes. She's, So she studied at Le Cordon Bleu in London. She did the course there, and then she worked for 10 years in London. And she was very fortunate to spend most of that time at a restaurant called the South Kensington Club, where no one spoke English in the kitchen at all. It was all Italian. So it was real, genuine Italian. And she picked up a lot of good habits from that.
Well, you see how God's angels work. He put her in an Italian kitchen because he knew that her father was going to build a beautiful little Italian space in South Africa, which indeed you have. Anybody who hasn't been to Bacco needs to look it up online. I know loads of you are going to Cape Town for Christmas and New Year. Just go. Just phone and go. It's a beautiful little place. And they can just phone and come. Hey, Nate?
Yeah.
Phone, book a restaurant table and come.
Just show up.
Just
There's
show
a
up.
lot of
Yeah.
seating and everything, so it's good.
How
Very-
cool is that? Just show up, guys. You just heard Martin. Just show up.
Let's talk about Vermentino for 5 seconds, because I know how close it is to your heart.
Yes.
So Martin, interesting, we talked to him because, I mean, he had never made Vermentino before, and he's made 3.
Hadn't you? It's gorgeous.
Three vintages, yeah.
3 vintages now. And I tell you something, and I really want to get you around to taste the latest, because we are stepping up quite quickly over there, and it's really come about. I planted it because I was on the island of Sardinia, and I just loved the island. I was there for 2 weeks, and I moved around, and at night the only wine they give you there with your fish pasta and whatever is Vermentino.
I know.
And
I know. Well, as you say, I got a really close association with some Vermentino in Sardinia, and I love it. And it makes up a huge portion of the white wine that you drink in Italy. And and it gives that beautiful, fresh, clean crispness to a lot of the Italian white wines that people don't really know it's even there. I was so excited when you said you were going to be making Vermentino, and you and I, Nate, tasted last year, I think. When did you do your first vintage? Last year?
2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So this is our
Last
third.
year, and then we got one this
But
year.
yeah, we
Is
first
this your
bottled
third
it
year?
Last year.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, even to look at. And I love that you've put a green label on it, because it just keeps it that sort of limey freshness that is Vermentino.
Yeah.
It's that beautiful limey freshness, and you can see it in the bottle on the shelf. That's what it's going to be. You can taste it before you've opened it.
Exactly.
Martin's doing a really, really good job of that wine.
Yeah. I think I think he's doing a very good job of all our wines, quite honestly. And the nice
Don't
thing
say
is
it too loud. You'll become big-headed, Natie. Don't say it too loud in
Impossible.
front of him.
I'm far too critical of myself to ever be big.
He's so arrogant as it is.
No.
So, just a quick rundown of what we've got. We've got the Rolls Royce. We've got our Bacco Estate Blend, which is the winner of the Bordeaux Cup in Australia. Recently, it was released, I think, last week. You heard that
IWC,
you won that IWC. Then we've got that Prelude Blend, which I think is probably one of the nicest red blends in the country at the price for them at the moment. It really, really is. So that's like your baby Bordeaux style blend, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Then it's the Syrah.
Then you got a Syrah, which is what we want everybody to drink for Christmas, because it's like red raspberry fruits with spicy lace
And
around
chocolate
the edge.
truffles.
Oh, it's chocolate. It's to go with all the Christmas food.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to drink at Christmas time. Then you've got a cab, haven't you? You've got a Cabernet.
Well, we're gonna have the Chianti and the Chianti style blend, and the Super Tuscan is gonna be above the Bacco blend.
Then we cannot forget your Chardonnay,
Yeah.
because everybody's very quiet about your Chardonnay. We haven't spoken about it yet today, but it is. Nace, I remember the first time I took that wine to Michael Fridjon, and I said to him, "Taste this Chardonnay," and he said, After we'd had the wine open for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, and we were sitting joking and laughing as we want to do, I said, "Let's have some more of that Chardonnay." And he said to me, "This really is extremely smart Chardonnay," in the words of Michael Fridjon. It is. It's very smart Chardonnay. So there's nothing that you can't really produce on that farm.
Yeah. What was very interesting is the Chardonnays are really most northern block. It's right at the bottom of the farm, almost on the railway line. I think we should call it Treinspoor or something like that. Anyway, what's interesting is that...
urban.
Yeah, we got
stylistically, it's not the same.
No, we got 1.6 hectares basically in that block, and we last year I think you probably they green harvested about 3 times. And we're left with about I think we took 1.5 tons off there eventually. It's a very young vine carrier. It is not but it is looking so beautiful this year. What all our vines are. I think everybody's vines, the whole of the Western Cape, the vines are looking off the rains and a proper winter that it was cold. Everyone's vines are looking really terrific this year. And I think we're going to get a decent sized crop. We'll probably get our 8 tons off it. And,
last year for 1.5 hectare, we only got 1.2 tons. And it was...
That's not going to make anybody rich.
No,
but it was... The birds also had their way with the vineyard, so this year we probably should get it netted.
Some netted,
It protect the crop. But this year we probably going to settle between 5 and 8 tons.
So is everything looking good and on track in spite of all the hectic flooding and what have you that we've had in the Cape? Everything looking on track for a good vintage
on our
this
farm,
year.
we're very lucky on our farm, I must say, because we've got beautiful slopes, and they're not steep slopes; they're just gentle slopes. If I tell you from where I'm sitting at the moment, which is the top of the sort of hill, if you want to call it a hill, down to the bottom, which is about 1.5 kilometers away, there's a 20-meter fall, and it's just gentle. It's like a rolling sort of situation. So when it rained, we got that sort of rain. It really there was no damage whatsoever.
Yeah, it trickles down the hill, but that's Tuscany for you.
Yeah, most of the water fell in the Franschhoek Mountains. So like all of the farms there got a lot of water. Here in this low-lying area, there wasn't that much damage. So I think
thank goodness.
Yeah,
300 mils in Franschhoek, and I think this was probably about 150. So they probably effectively halved.
But also you're in the valley then, Franschhoek, and comes off the mountains, and that's where the damage comes.
Yeah, it comes tearing down the mountain. I mean, it's like blooming glacial action down those mountains. It's terrible.
With the mountains is like it's a lot of surface area in a small area. So like because the mountain is like a thing that you just pulled up, so that's why it took a lot of water, and it like the whole town. But it was amazing to see how everybody came together, and the municipality with all their digger loaders. Like I think I counted, and like there was probably about 10 to 12 digger loaders working in the town.
Right.
At any given time, just like
trying to fix it all up,
getting sand out and all of that. Yeah. So, but now the tourists are back. Like it's like full force season is starting. So.
Well, I was down in Cape Town last week because I was judging Malbec for Celia, and I couldn't believe already Cape Town's full, teeming with tourists.
It is.
Airports chaos, lots of people.
Yeah, good. Bringing foreign money into the country. So that's good.
Please God, So from our lips to God's ears, let them stay for an extra 3 weeks, and spend some of it at Bacco at the restaurant and tasting some of your delicious wines. And then last of all, but not least, we've got rosé. Pretty rosé. What do you put into your rosé?
Yeah, so it's a rosé made from Malbec, and then there's a little bit of Vermentino and Sangiovese in there now. So it's a very unique. I don't know if there's a lot of people that creates that blend of rosé in South Africa, but it's very giving and very cotton candy like, and a lot of watermelon and all the right aromas that you want to have in a rosé.
It's perfect for summer. So guys, now we've got a very fancy schmancy Bordeaux blend for you. We have got Shiraz with a Christmas pudding, and we've got Vermentino and rosé for drinks on the terrace before Christmas lunch. We're going to do the reds for Christmas Eve, and then we're going to drink Chardonnay all day on Boxing Day. Deal.
Correct. We can do.
You don't need to shop anywhere else. Only Bacco. Thank you both so much. The wines are absolutely gorgeous. The farm is pretty. It's an achievement that everybody needs to go and enjoy. We need 60,000 more Naties and definitely 60,000 more Martins in the country. Thanks for joining me so much.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
Gary. Yeah, bye-bye.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.